Hey guys, what is going on? This is Ip of Rage Quit TV, gonna be casting a game between Empire.Violet and TSL.Polt. It is a TVZ on Tal'Darim altar, with Polt spawning counterclockwise of Violet, so it's okay. Of course, Violet wishes Polt had spawned complete cross positions, but as long as it's not clockwise of him, which would be right here, Violet is going to be happy. Again, if Terran does spawn here, they do pass this little area against the Zerg where Marines and Marauders can take out the gas. Not a big deal. The big deal is tank sieging up right here and be able to take out this natural. It is such a pain for Zergs to deal with, and they really hate when Terran spawn clockwise of them. Counterclockwise, not so much. They don't really mind that too much. Violet, if you don't know, is one of the Zerg players who has improved the most in the last 6 months when CSN picked him up. Of course, he is on Empire now, but CSN are the people who actually made Violet who he is. About 7 months ago, before the pickup, no one knew who Violet was, and as soon as he moved to North America, he was like a average Zerg player. Then, living in America, CSN taking care of all his economies, just basically let him play StarCraft 2 24/7, which Violet did do. He played StarCraft more than Caldor cast currently. It was that ridiculous. He didn't really have that good of viewer numbers, but he just played non-stop, streamed non-stop, and over 6 months, he has turned from a mediocre Zerg player into a Code S caliber player. That is how much he has improved, and he did that in North America when he was living in Korea, which is even more amazing. Polt is going to be opening up with a Rax. Did not go for a command center first. Some Terrans do end up going command center first on this map just because a lot of Zerg players won't pressure it because, well, it is hard to scout a Terran player on this map. The Overlord, though, does guess the correct position and will be seeing this. I'm a little bit surprised the first Overlord didn't go over to this base just because, well, you want to know as soon as possible if Terran is in this location, because if he is, it can really change up your build. I know a lot of Zerg players would just go for a Baneling bust soon as they see it being those positions, but again, this position, not too bad. Overlord does see exactly what Polt is doing and will be backing off, doesn't know about the command center, and Polt, if you don't know, has probably the best late-game TVZ. Marine King Prime may have a better like mid or early TVZ than Polt, but Polt in late game, that's where he shines. He is one of the few Terrans, actually maybe one of the only Terrans I can name, that will actually readily be like, yeah, I'm just going to go for the late game. I don't really care too much about the early and mid, and I'm just going to go for a late game army and beat you then. You can't let Polt sit alone because his decision making and micro late game is just so good. I've never really seen Polt lose just straight up someone rushing up to Infestor Broodlord, which is kind of what convinced Stefano, I think, to play an Ultralisk style, because Polt scared Stefano for the longest time because he just couldn't beat Polt. Polt would be like, yeah, you want to go for the late game, Stefano? Bring it. I'll just beat you in the late game. And he did constantly. And then Stefano changed up his playstyle a little bit, and now he is starting to beat Polt, but it's still always epic games when Polt plays any Zerg. He is kind of known as the Zerg killer in the last MLG arena. We do have Violet going to be going with his signature Ling Roach opener, which does put a lot of pressure on, does kind of stop Polt's build dead in the tracks. These Hellions won't be able to do too much damage, and these Lings are going to come, keep this Overlord alive, because if the Lings weren't here, then when this factory does swap off for the barracks, the 2 Marines would kill the Overlord and supply cap Violet. But with Violet having these Lings here, he can kind of keep the pressure on these Marines, so when the swap does come, the Marines will be preoccupied dealing with the Lings, and the Overlord can get to safety. We do see the factory lifting up now, and those Marines are going to go try to take out this Overlord. 5 Roaches are on the way over to Polt's base, and the Overlord now going to be starting to move the Lings, going to be trying to keep this Overlord alive. The Marines do go to this bunker, and now the Ling's going to be backing on off. There's only 3 Marines to deal with the 2 Marines, and it looks like Polt will be able to kill this one Overlord. Violet has already started another one, but now his aggression can't really keep producing units, so we do see another Overlord coming out from Violet, but that's probably going to mean he's not going to produce any more Roaches. Go for Econ. He does have 5 Roaches at Polt's base, so these Hellions that are going to be coming out won't be able to go and harass Violet at all, which would allow Violet to get creep spread up and take a 3rd base on any map. Other than Tal'Darim Alta on this map, he can't easily take a 3rd base, but these Roaches are going to get into a money spot, take out this supply depot. Going over to the work account, it is 27 drones to 26 SCVs. 3 SCVs have fallen, and Violet now Going to be picking off SCVs, keeping the army at bay, killing Marines, killing Hellions, and killing SCVs, all while droning up. So this was very successful by Violet. We do see him now ahead by 8 workers, and just building a lot more drones, getting the Spine Crawler, and killing a few Marines. Another Marine does go down there, and 2 Hellions can't really take out all of these roaches, and still just killing off more and more SCVs. Now that the Marauder is out though, these roaches are probably going to be going back home. Can't do any damage. In the meantime, Polt has got up a Banshee to try to counteract all the damage that Violet has done. Going into Violet's workers, it is 36 to 20. Violet almost double Polt's worker count right now. Polt is going for the Banshee, but not the Cloak. He does have the gas and minerals to get Cloak, but is choosing not to. He did kill the one Overlord that was right here. This would be the suicidal Overlord, so there's no way for Violet to actually know what Polt is doing. So, very nice job by Polt taking out that one Overlord, so Violet can't really sacrifice an Overlord to get into Polt's base. But Violet, he is only at 2 hatch. He is going 2 hatch layer, which is relatively okay against these Banshees. Going on 3 base can be a little bit of a stretch, but the Banshee's going to come. The Queens are going to be able to group up together, and 2 Queens will easily take out 1 Banshee. We do see Violet stacking a little bit of energy on both Queens, by mistake most likely, but this will allow them to also transfuse when this Banshee does come to deal damage. We also have Violet going for a Spire and getting a macro hatch right now. Banshee is going to come in, get a few drone kills. We do have a Spore Crawler immediately being built at both bases. Yes, both the natural and main do have a Spore Crawler. Banshee, though, just targeting these drones, going up to 6 drone kills right now, and will be backing on off. So now the worker kill count is about even with 6 to 10. Of course, Violet did kill more with his roaches, but these Banshees did some damage. Also, unlike the roaches, Polt got a good scout on exactly what Violet is doing. Or did he? Where is that Spire? Way back here. So, no, Polt did not see that Spire. Does not know about the mutas. Also, I don't think he's really checked this natural base too much, so he doesn't know about the gas timing of Violet. If he saw the gas timing, he may think mutas would be coming out. Going to be leaving 1 Hellion right here. The Banshee sees these rocks haven't been taken out, so Polt now knows that Violet is going to go for some type of 2-base build. Banshee is going to be coming up, but still, again, not seeing any signs of expansion is going to be a big sign for Polt to say, hey, something is going to be coming my way relatively soon. And what do we see him do? He is getting this wall up, getting more barracks. Does have double E-base working on 1-1 right now. Violet, though, is just finishing his +1 melee attack. Doesn't have +1 armor. Does have the centrifugal hooks. And, of course, a lot of mutas just now popping. Does have 6 mutas out on the map to Polt's 14 Marines. And looks like he wants to take out these rocks. The Banshee now going to be seeing the mutas. And the Banshee will be taken out, but of course, seeing the mutas is going to be big. It is going to tell Polt to get some missile turrets up to deal with these mutas. This base doesn't need one because he has a bunker with Marines in it, but the main base already has a missile turret, so he knew these mutas were going to be coming, already had it up. And will probably not take that much damage against this muta force, but mutas on Tal'Darim, this is one of the few maps where mutas actually do shine, because drops on Tal'Darim is such a pain to deal with because all the bases are much quicker to get to with air than ground. Because go over here, look how far this base is to the natural. This is a huge distance, while the mutas, they can just hop anywhere. So they can easily deal with drops right here. Terran player does a drop here. He can't really just elevator up and deal damage here because the mutas will shut that down. Additionally, it works the same way. The mutas have a lot more area to fly around. They can easily harass the main, natural, and 3rd base. Always area for them to escape behind, and also from the 3rd base, they can easily hop over to the main. So mutas on Tal'Darim, not that bad, but the bad thing about mutas is it takes a very specific playstyle to do them. You have to practice mutas a lot to use mutas. It's not like a Zerg player can just suddenly go mutas and it will be okay. No, his injects are gonna fall behind because with Mutas, you have to be very active on the map, and we don't see Violet actually getting too many Mutas. It looks like he may be starting to transition into Ling and Fester, then go up into either Ultralisk or Broodlords, as he's still favoring getting those Ling upgrades, not building any more Mutas, just wanting to get like 6 or 8 to stop drops, get scouting, do harassment, keep Polt from leaving the base, and not let Polt just sit and macro up, because that is what Polt wants to do, is doing quite a bit of damage here. We do have up to 20 worker kills. And Polt doesn't really want to leave his base right now, but Violet, he is taking a 4th base, kind of at a ninja location. He does know about the 1 Hellion right here, as he put a drone down there, got the gas, so does know about the 1 base. These Mutas still, again, just being annoying. Does split Polt's army up, and lots of stims going down from Polt. There's Medivacs not going to be at high energy, which is going to be really bad when Violet does switch over into those Infestors, because those Medivacs aren't going to be able to heal out Fungal Growth because they have no energy. So if Violet right now had Infestors, he'd be able to do a lot of damage, but just because Marines, they can't even stim. Can you imagine getting Fungal Growth? That would be absolutely horrible. But Violet does have a lot of Lings being built, 32 more on the way when he already has 35 out, so going to be doubling them. Does not have Burrow. Polt does have a really good SimCity up. This 3rd base is going to be pretty much untouchable. I guess Baneley's maybe will come behind into the middle line. Polt with this 1 Hellion is going to see the 4th base, realizing that Violet, he has to be on a 4th base sometime, so the 1 Hellion does scoot his way over, sees the 4th base, and Violet doesn't care. He's just going to get these gases, transfer 2 drones on over. And he doesn't know about this big wall, so we do have, maybe the Mutas will come in, see this wall, and Violet immediately will be like, okay, I can't do anything right here. Medivacs are loading up with only 4 Mutas. It's going to take them 3 volleys or 4 volleys to take out those dropshers, but now the Marines are dropping. Lings and Roach is going to come try to pick off a few of those Marines, but I don't know if that was cost effective. And now Polt, he's getting that large army where he can start moving out across the map. Only 4 Mutas, so there's not a huge threat of counterattacks. And these bunkers in really good positions. It's going to be very hard for the Lings to get us around on this bunker with the supply depot wall, the missile turret next to it. He did salvage the one in his natural, but it looks like Polt, looks like he wants to start moving on out. And he may keep a handful of units back at home to deal with the counterattack. We do have Violet sitting with a lot of units waiting to do a counterattack against Polt. And Polt just going to slowly move across the map, and now he's going to be moving more and more Marines across. And with this 1 sensor tower, he is going to know that Violet has a lot of units over here. Violet trying to do a counterattack, but Polt says no, no, no. Does keep a few Marines back here. While tanks are going to be starting to leapfrog, and maybe not moving out very quickly. Lots of Marines went down to those Baneleys, but still has plenty more. Polt is ahead in the supply. Violet is getting a greater spire right now, and that is kind of what Polt likes. Does have a wall of spines to kind of delay Polt, and has 7 Infestors out, so he does have an Infestor count now. Lings are going to take out 2 of those tanks and now get back to that spine color wall. Infestors are waiting right here and going to be getting fungal growths here. Baneley's coming after those fungal. Spine color is also dealing damage, and now they're going to be moving back to this high ground. And for the Marines to engage against the spine colors, now they're going to have to clump up on the ramp, which the Infestors will love. So Violet doing a great play right here, but he is going to be leaving this 1 base completely wide open for Polt. Polt going to leave a few tanks and Marines right here and send off just a small hit squad to deal with this 1 base. We do have plenty of spines, but they're not in the best positions to deal with this small Bioforce. They are stimming to get there as soon as possible, and we do see Polt just setting up a relatively large contain. Violet could swing this way, but it looks like Polt going to be pulling back to this watchtower just so he can prevent Violet from doing any counterattack. He also knows the Broodlords are out, so he is going to be pulling on back. Will be taking out this 1 base, so it's going to be a 3-base Zerg to a 3-base Terran player. But again, the Zerg is up at the Infestor Broodlord count, and Polt could be in a little bit of trouble, but this is where a lot of Terran players would panic. Polt, he isn't going to panic. He did just take out 1 base, so he's equal number of bases right now. And we will see him get a beautiful spread on these Marines relatively shortly, so Fungal Growth doesn't do much to them. You can see how much energy Violet does have, but Polt's micro is going to be ridiculous right now. And you can just see his split is so good. Fungals are going down, but they're not hitting that many Marines. But Violet may just have a little bit too much. Polt supply is not dropping that far. He is still equal supply to Violet. Violet used a lot of his energy on those infestors. Lings are coming in, will be getting picked off, but the Broodlord count is going down very slowly to this single Viking. That's up to 3 kills. If he chugged that one Broodlord, he would have got 4 kills, but the one Viking definitely being a hero. And now Violet has to make the choice. Do I fungal these Vikings? Or do I fungal the Marines? And these infestors not going to have that much energy for long. And the Viking will pick off that one Corruptor. Now he's got to use energy to deal with the Viking. Looks like he is just going to use that on all the Marines. Going to ignore the Viking, say, well, you can kill this. Does use one Infestatorian, does clean it up. But it looks like Polt may be able to just barely hold this off. He is losing a lot of workers right now. Up to 30 workers killed. He is doing a drop right here that does get cleaned up. And the Thors are pulling back, and those Thors are going to be enough to just push Violet back. Again, Thors, not the easiest thing for infestors to kill. They take a lot of energy. So if you get Thors and Vikings against just Infestor Broodlord, when it's in small numbers, there's nothing Infestor Broodlord can do because eventually they're just going to run out of energy. Can't kill everything. But mixing in Lings will be what Violet needs to do. Also, Thors are great because if Violet wants to switch over into Ultras, which he's doing right now, Thors do well against both Broodlords and Ultralisks. So it's not like you overproduce on Vikings, then Ultras come and you're screwed. These Thors will do okay against both. However, the Thors are going to be relatively unupgraded. They just have +1 vehicle attack, while those Ultras will be near 3-3, possibly at 3-3 by the time they do come out. We do have Violet right now transfusing some of those Broodlords, and Violet's still just on 3 bases. Soon these gases are going to be mined out. They have another about 5 minutes till this gas mines out, maybe 4, about 6 to 7 on this one gas, so he is getting in the danger zone of mining out of his gas. And Polt going to be taking a 4th base. And the Greatest Spire did get sniped by that one drop some time ago. And that isn't that good for Violet, so that's why he went up into these Ultralisks. Because the Greatest Spire did get sniped. So that forced him to go into Ultras, which Polt, he's going to like. He's going for a very anti-Ultra force with a lot of Thors, tanks, Marines. He just knows once he kills these Broodlords, that's going to be the end for them for some time. So Polt maybe just macking up for another like 2 minutes, realizing that Violet can't build Broodlords for 2 minutes, so he's in the clear. He doesn't really care too much about Ultras, but Adrenal Glands with chitinous plating, and again, the 3-3 is on the way, and these Thors not going to be upgraded that much. The Marines, though, however, are going to be at 3-3, and 3-3 Marines are very scary. And it looks like Polt just now looking for another base. Violet has just started taking this 4th base yet again, as Polt does move out with, again, just a handful of Marines and the 1 medevac. Violet not controlling all these watchtowers, so he doesn't know this is coming. And this small hit squad of Marines will be enough to take out this one hatch if Violet is not ready for it. Does have a lot of speedlings, but they are not in position. We do have Polt now going to be taking his 4th base finally. He was lifting off one of his command centers around. I don't know where that went. Maybe it just decided to stay back at the natural. Or maybe it got taken out. But we do have Polt taking the 4th base, and here we go. A handful of Marines going to stem up. Base isn't done yet, and will Violet get the cancel? These Marines do a lot of damage very quick. Drone will be going down, and now Polt going to be looking all around, doing such a good job at keeping Violet just on 3 bases. We do see Violet going to be taking this one base rather closer, but again, drops. Once he takes this base out, he will be in Violet's main base, which he's not mining from, but he will, well, the Natural's not going to be mining from that much. I guess he can take out the gas, but the thing that Polt has to worry about is this large attack from Violet, but he does have a lot of units right now. Relatively good split on those Marines. You can see only a phone going off right there. Another one right here, but those medevacs just out healing it, and Violet has to pull on back. These Ultras getting taken out. The Vikings still alive, slowly killing off these Broodlords. A few Infestatorians off in the back, and the Ultra's going to be pushing ahead a little bit, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Polt doing a drop. Actually, he isn't doing a drop right now. Violet going to be taking another base. Polt, though, going up in this medevac with his Thor, saving it from some Broodlings. And look, 5 HP left on that, 30 HP. Gonna drop the Ultra, get 1 kill, And now gonna get the oh no! Lives with 8 HP. Polt is gonna do his best to defend this. Does have a handful of Marines right here. Doesn't know about this base. Will momentarily. And these Lings gonna be taking out a lot of SCVs. Polt gonna be taking out this one base. We will kind of have a base trade going on. And those Lings will take out all the SCVs. The command center is forced to lift up. Is just gonna be floating over to the left. Violet with this very sneaky expansion, and this is a wonderful expansion to take just because it's so far out of the way where Polt wants to go. If he's over here, he is completely out of position. We do have the medevac now going to be going up. If he takes down the spawning pool, that will be huge. Keep in mind, there is no Spire or Greater Spire, so if he takes out the spawning pool, all Violet will be able to build are Infestors and Ultras. Polt going over in the army supply, 51 to 69. So it is still a relatively close game despite this supply not looking like it. 22 SCVs versus 54. So that's where the difference is. These Marines are going to take out the spawning pool and no more Lings. And now the Lings are going to come. Polt going to take out a few of them knowing that those Lings can't come for another 60 seconds. Or they can't build more. Ultralisk got to cleave off on the infestation pit maybe. That was odd. But Violet going to be pulling on back. Polt still has the drop, going to be coming back in to do a little bit more damage. And where's Polt's army just staying back in this main? Knows that, well, if the Ultras want to kill his main army, they're going to have to go through a narrow choke, and this is where Polt wants to engage. So with the small drop, he's kind of just forcing the base trade. He used a scan, saw where Violet's army was, and now he's like, okay, I'm going to start taking out this hive. And if he gets this hive, this will be huge. Because, well, there's no Spire, so that's going to mean no Greater Spire. If he takes out the Ultralisk Cavern next, or the Infestation Pit, it will be really big. And now here he goes, going to be starting to go over to that Infestation Pit, take out both the Hive and Infestation. It's Ling Ultras from here on out for Violet. And the Hive does fall. The Infestation Pit falls. Polt can still take this game with some beautiful decision-making. With this one small drop, who thought 8 Marines and a medevac could deal so much damage? Just to give you an idea, he took out this hatch, took out this hatch, took out the Greater Spire, took out the spawning pool, took out the Hive, then also took out the Infestation, but all with this small drop. Such a nice job from Polt right now. Violet still mining over at this base, is going to find this one command center mining with plenty of mules, which is allowing Polt to just build a lot of Marines. Also has the gas count, so if he wanted to get tanks, he can. And tanks at this point wouldn't be bad, just because, again, that Violet, he cannot build anything in the air. Of course, Polt may not know that, may have the idea, and the command center is going to be moving on over to a new base. And then Polt just may not have the income that Violet has, may not have the bank that Violet has, but, well, he can still build all his units. And it looks like he doesn't know that Violet can't build any more Broodlords, as he is still getting quite a few Vikings. Oh no, he's going to go up to 3. So, 3 Vikings, not an overcompensation against 1 Broodlord, I would say. And now he's going to be trying to do damage at this one base. Knows it's here. Violet is getting a Spine Crawlers up, but the drop is going to come just in time. Linksing on this high ground so the Marines can't just go over to that high ground. However, those Lings getting picked off ever so slowly. Ultralisks are coming. And those Marines going in a good spot. Banelings, though, come force the Mavic to lift up. And Violet, oh no, has moved all of his units. And that will allow these Marines to do a little bit of medevac cute micro with this one base. And Polt, slowly just building an army, knows that he has crippled the tech of Violet. And the command center is going to land, drop mules over so he can build more Marines, because that is all Polt needs right now. Knows his opponent is just, can only build, well, he's got a lot of Infestors right now. Maybe a Ghost Academy wouldn't be a bad call. Get a few EMPs out. This one Viking will be taken out. I think the Broodlord, no, the Broodlord is still alive. Vikings may just be trying to patrol for Overlords, Broodlords, and whatnot. Just get scouting information. Drop right here, not doing any damage, but this is Violet's last real mining base. He is getting this one up just now, long distance mining, but Polt, he is moving out with a scary army. He is at +2 on his tanks, and just has to do a slow push over to this base. If he takes out this base, it is game over. Violet doesn't really have anything to take out floating buildings, so Polt gonna be good. And he just can't be caught out of position. Those tanks are really clumped up. Doesn't have a good split on them. And if Violet gets Infested Hands off before he goes in, that may be enough. The Broodler, though, taking a lot of damage from that Viking. This drop still not doing as much as I would like to do. If he went over here, he could take out some Lings, just not paying attention to it. And Violet's base is almost up. And Polt needs to split these tanks up. Desperately needs to. I'm going to be unsieging them all, and this is so risky. If Violet attacks right now, it can deal a lot of damage. We do see Polt throwing out the scan, so he knows that. Not splitting his tanks yet again. Maybe a small mistake against this many Ultralisks. But again, if he did split his tanks, Infested Hands would just insta-give tanks because they would all friendly fire. So maybe that's why Polt isn't doing that. But again, this is Polt's late game TVZ. Such good decision making right now. He's going to be landing one Marine, pulling units in. Spinecrawler in a good position. Doesn't know about this one base. If he finds this, that will be bad news for Violet. Lings are going to come pick off a few Marines. And Polt just slowly going to be moving his way on over. Where is that spawning pool at? Over at this base, and this may not be the best spot for the spawning pool because it's next to that Ultralisk cavern, but Violet is going in now, shooting off Infested Hands, gets huge fungals, his Infestors all at maxed energy, but Polt has just so much, but it looks like it may be enough. Marines with some great splitting, Infestors still have a lot of energy, Medivacs healing up a lot, and pretty much completely split up by Polt, but not enough. GG. And just before that engagement, I was talking about this spawning pool positioning. Now, if this spawning pool got taken out, what's next? The Ultralisk cavern, and that's it. I guess he'd be building roaches, which wouldn't be good because the missile attack upgrade isn't there, the roach speed isn't there. They'd just be kind of like those Thors were. So, I would have much rather seen the spawning pool. Maybe build two spawning pools. Build one over here and over here, just so if it gets taken out, you're not just screwed. So, pretty darn good game. And that game was a lot longer than I thought it would be. I actually don't have any time to do any more analysis, so I hope you enjoyed the game. Take care, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.